So it's quite early today here in Dunfermline, and I just arrived and I decided just to stop here to eat something nice. So we're in a nice restaurant and then we'll continue with the tour. Well, Dunfermline so far looks amazing. It's a nice place, it's really pretty. Lots of buildings are really nice. And I also like the fact that there's plenty of car parks. So everywhere you go, you'll find a car park. So if you're driving here for a day, it's great because there's places to park. Fantastic. Now we're heading up to Dunfermline Abbey, where we'll be learning a little bit of history of Scotland with Nan and Farrel. Right, so we are here with Nan. Hi Nan, how are you?
Hi, nice to see you, welcome.
Thank you so much. And we are also with
Farrel.
Farrel. Hi Farrel, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Great, thank you so much. So please, can you tell us where we are and a little history about this place?
Well, we're in the nave of Dunfermline Abbey. Most of what you see around about you just now dates back to the early 1100s. And we are the burial place of 24 kings, queens, princes and princesses between ourselves and the building next door, the Abbey Church. Basically, it's a very important building because of that, and also we have the remnants of an earlier church below us here as well. It's been a place of worship way back before 1000.
Right, okay. Can you tell us a little more about the history? I believe you were mentioning to me that Saint Margaret was married in this very spot.
Yes. This here, Saint Margaret came across from Hungary with her father. He was the heir to the English throne. His uncle was Edward the Confessor. He was living happily in Hungary when he received a message to say, "Come back, your uncle is not well and we feel you should be back." So he had married a princess there, Agatha. He had 3 children. So they all came back to England, but within 3 or 4 days he was dead, possibly poisoned. We don't know. So anyhow, the throne was not taken by anyone, but it was taken by, of course, William the Conqueror. He came along, knock knock, 1066, here we are. So Margaret and the family at one point were welcomed at court, then another time they were actually imprisoned. The ladies were sent to a nunnery and the brother was imprisoned in a castle. Some of the Saxon line, his father's line, managed to get them to escape, had a couple of ships for them and sent them back to Hungary. That was the plan. However, other plans changed. There was a shipwreck not too far away from here, and here we had our king at the time, King Malcome III. He is up behind you there. He was in his tower. He had a tower very close to here, down the park, or in the glen, and he offered them sanctuary. So they came here, and within 6 or 7, he was in his 50s, Margaret was 20. So he liked the look of Margaret, and he asked Margaret to marry him, and she said, "No, I only want to marry God. I want to be a nun. I'm not marrying any man." A few months went on, and again he asked her, "No, not interested." Again he asked her, still the same reply, but mother and brother said, "You will marry him." And this is where they got married. Within this little, I don't know if you can see it oblong, this was a Celtic church. So that was the religion here at the time. And it was the only thing that would be here. None of this, just sitting on the hill, this little church. So they got married here, the 2 of them, and lived down in the park, in his tower. Margaret used to wander around Dunfermline And he's asking, where's she going? What's she doing? She doesn't know anyone here. And he found her in a cave, praying. And he asked her, why are you praying in a cave? And she said, well, this is not my religion. She was Catholic. She said, I don't have a church. Well, here we are. I'll build you a church. So this area here was the Church of the Holy Trinity, built up the way. And this is where she was. And then the abbey itself was built by her youngest son, David, who became King David. So, yeah, so that's really the story of the church. Margaret, people came from all over the world to see her, pilgrims. Malcolm Canmore, the king, we always say Robert the Bruce is warrior king. William Wallace, he's a warrior as well. But to me, Malcolm Canmore, her husband, was a warrior. He was always fighting, back and forward, back and forward. But when he was with her, he was a different man, a completely different man, very much in love with her. Very happily married, 8 children, as I say, wow. Yes, 8 children. So she was very happy with him.
And was Margaret canonized?
Yes, she was. Ask me the date.
Was it 1205, I believe?
No, before that.
Before that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, it could have been. Could have been.
I read that it was canonized by the last Celtic
yes.
Pope. Or
yes, correct.
Uh-huh.
So yes, she was made saint, and she was buried in here. We were both in here. Well, he was still in England. He was killed at a battle in England, Battle of Alnwick, and his son also, as we were saying. So yes, he was brought here 8 years later to lie with Margaret. Then when she was canonized, this is one of her miracles because she was renowned for miracles. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, you can visualize everybody's here because Saint Margaret is getting a lovely shrine, everything gorgeous, but not husband. He's staying here. So everybody here from all over to have this wonderful thing. So Margaret, exhumed Margaret, lifted her out the coffin, she was smelling of roses after all those years. And they're now ready, and they're going to carry her forward to take her to the shrine. However, all of a sudden, the 4 people who were carrying her had to put her down because she suddenly was so heavy they couldn't carry her anymore.
Wow.
So what's happened? We've just moved her apart, and so there was no answer to the question. And then a young boy, started talking and saying, Margaret will not move until Malcolm moves before her. And again and again and again and again, and people are saying, be quiet, they're all agitated, don't know what to do. And she just wouldn't move. So on he's going, till someone said, he doesn't speak properly, this boy. We've never heard him saying words like this. Maybe there's something in it. So they're wondering what to do. People outside have come from all over for this. And so they think, well, do we take Malcolm? Do we dig him up? What do we do? After about a couple of hours, they decide that's what they're doing because nothing's happening. Uh-huh. Unfortunately, not smelling of roses. So they've got Malcolm. There's enough room in the shrine for the 2 of them. Why not? So now they start to carry him. That's all going well. Now he's up beside Margaret. Now they pick up Margaret. No, she's not moving. So again, they thought, well, let's take him first. So they walk past Margaret with Malcolm, and there you go, uplifts Margaret. So the 2 of them very happily were in the nice shrine, yes.
Fantastic.
And that's documented, and it's quite funny when you read it in the old language. Mm-hmm. Yes, that was the story.
That was very enlightening. So thank you so much to Nan for explaining a little about the background of Malcolm IV and Saint Margaret. and now we're going to be talking a little bit of the spooky stories of Dunfermline Abbey with Farrel. Right, Farrel, so can you tell us a little bit about anything spooky or something that you have experienced working here?
Sure. Once another part of the site that's across the way, basically the refectory where the monastery was, that's where the monks ate and they had storage and workshops, etc. We've got a staircase that goes down into it, and it's a large wooden door like the ones that you see in here, with a key about that size, and it's the only key we have, and it's one of these ones you have to turn it fully. So once there was a group downstairs in there, and the family came in to say that they couldn't get back out, and we were like, I wonder what's going on there. So I went and put my shoulder against the door thinking it just closed. No, it had been completely locked, and I had the only key in the safe next to me.
Wow.
And that was not long after a young lady had came back to the shop and had shown us a photo on her phone, and it looked like a black hooded figure in the background behind her, which was in the same location. And there are stories of phantom monks, etc. in the complex, so maybe it was one of them.
Wow.
It's the strangest thing I've seen here.
Guys, while filming this video, our camera picked up some figures in the Dunfermline Church and Abbey, so I want to show you those footage, and they're quite scary. You can clearly see some people sitting in the benches, and right at the back corner you can see what I believe is a monk with a hood, so it's quite scary. Guys, this is really scary. As you can see, there's people sitting in the benches, and you can also see right at the very back a monk is wearing one of those black hoods, so that's quite scary.
Coffins were exhumed in 1849, 1850, and they were at the far end of what was Margaret's church, right at the far end of the nave. And
Right.
I believe that they're probably two of Margaret's sons that were in them. When they were excavated and opened, basically most of it turned to dust. But the remnants of one of them, it was like a tunic or a shirt, it was actually preserved, and it's in the museum in Edinburgh. It's not on public display, but it's in the archives downstairs.
Wow.
So they're big coffins, but you'll notice they're very different sizes.
Yes.
I'm not sure why they're completely different sizes, because they're not too dissimilar in age, but they've been just placed here instead of their normal location, which was down the far end of the church.
Right, okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was very interesting and spooky at the same time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. And if you did, please give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you next time in a different place. Bye bye.